It's practically impossible to be a Star Wars fan and be unaware of the Mandalorians, that infamous race of armored warriors that produced the likes of the Fett and Din Djarin. The Mandalorians had a pretty heavy involvement in the Grand Army of the Republic as well, which could lead some to idly wonder what it would have been like if the Republic had an army of Mandalorians to fight the Clone Wars with. Well, wonder no longer, because the Null class ARC troopers were pretty much just that, and in this video we'll be discussing them and just how underrated they truly are.
Attention, Sergeant on deck!
The Null class Advanced Recon Commandos were the first 6 clones of Jango Fett to be produced by the Kaminoans, prototypes if you will. As with most prototypes, results for the Null ARCs were mixed, with the clones proving overly aggressive, willful and independent, which the Kaminoans deemed practically uncommendable. Now, the Kaminoan word for mixed results is the same as the one for failure, which, in turn, has the same meaning as subject to termination. And so, the Kaminoans attempted to euthanize the young ARCs. The Nulls were only saved by the Mandalorian Kal Skirata, one of 100 warriors brought on by Jango to train clone commandos. Skirata convinced the Kaminoans to back down from murdering the Nulls and practically adopted them, electing to train them personally as a Black Ops force. They became some of the most effective clones in the whole Grand Army, though they answered exclusively to Skirata, who they referred to as Kal Buya, or Papa Kal. Though they were technically part of the Republic's Special Operations Brigade, they worked alone and independently. They proved essential to the Republic war effort in the process. Now, before we should go any further, we should probably talk about the individual Nulls themselves. Originally, there were 12 Nulls, but half of them died in the creation process, leaving only Nulls 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, and 12. All of them were named after Mandalorian warriors by Kal Skirata, names they preferred to their numbers, naturally. The first 4 Nulls were given the rank of Lieutenant, while Null 11 was given the rank of Captain, and Null 12 was only given the rank of Sergeant. Null 5 was given the name Prudai, Mandoa for Shadow. He specialized in sabotage, especially of the Confederacy's droid factories. He sabotaged factories on at least 49 planets over the course of the Clone Wars, and after interrogating and assassinating a separatist metallurgist, he developed a method of sabotage that factory quality control systems couldn't detect. By slightly altering the chemical compositions of battle droids, Prudai figured out that he could set factories to produce droids that were so brittle that a hit from any weapon would shatter them. He was so prolific that he was personally responsible for a 250% rise in the average clone KD ratio. His armor featured special stealth systems that allowed him to enter automated factories unnoticed, and in combat, he used a DC-15A blaster rifle and a pair of DC-17 blaster pistols. Null 6 was known as Comeric, or Gauntlet. He was a master spy, specializing in interrogation and other methods of getting information from people. He was quiet, but extremely thorough, always ensuring that he never left any loose ends lying around. He was extremely adept at extracting information from people, be it through negotiation and gambling, or through proper interrogation and even torture. He was relentless in his info gathering and was well known for his skill at detecting lies. He frequently worked with Null 10, or Jang, on missions. The most sociable and carefree of the Nulls, Null 7 was named Muriel after Jaster Muriel, the former leader of the True Mandalorians and mentor to Jango Fett. He frequently took risks and was repeatedly described as a daredevil lunatic, and as you would probably expect from such a description, he was very much the heavy weapons type trooper of the Null ARCs. He favored the Z6 rotary blaster cannon and the Mer-Son reciprocating quad blaster, which he used several times against separatist terrorists on Coruscant to deadly effect. Off the books, he was also responsible for hunting down and capturing Ko Sai, a Kaminoan scientist that the Nulls wanted to reverse their accelerated aging. Null 10, or Jang, was named after a famed Mandalorian trainer from the time of the New Sith Wars, and he was one of the best trackers in the Republic. He was an expert when it came to slicing and otherwise manipulating data, a skill he used to track the most elite of the Confederacy's leaders. Jang was responsible for tracking General Grievous himself during the war, and it was he that determined that Grievous was hiding out on Utapau at the end of the war. He was also responsible for feeding the Intergalactic Banking Clan a computer virus that could steal half a credit per month from billions of random accounts across the galaxy, which he used to amass a fortune for Clan Scarada. In combat, he used a Verpine Shattergun, and after the death of Kosai, he started wearing gloves made from her hide. A skilled slicer, assassin, and leader, Null 11 was named Ordo after Canderous Ordo, the legendary warrior that served his people as Mandalore the Preserver. Ordo was a captain and the nominal leader of the Null Arcs, an all-round deadly soldier and an expert commando. He served in a number of infiltration, assassination, and other Black Ops missions during the war, and he also coordinated the Null's own private missions, including their quest to find some sort of cure for accelerated aging. During the Clone Wars, he fell in love with and proposed to Republic Treasury agent Bethany Wennon, who married him in traditional Mandalorian fashion. Null 12 was named Arden, or Rage, and he alone among the Nulls did not accept an officer rank, choosing to be a sergeant instead of a lieutenant to honor Cal Scarada, who was also officially a sergeant. Arden was the most light-hearted of the Nulls, but also the quickest to anger, hence his name. He was openly critical of the Republic and Supreme Chancellor Palpatine in particular, and frequently went on tirades about the terrible nature of life as a clone. He specialized in working with insurgencies, with his most notable mission being one such campaign on Gaftakar. All told, the Nulls played a major role in the Clone Wars. Their work proved essential at several key points during the conflict, yet their open dislike of the Republic often stopped them from being recognized for it. They were more Mandalorian than they were clone. Their loyalty was to each other, to Papa Cal, and to those they befriended along the way alone, not to the Grand Army or the Republic it served, and it sure as hell wasn't to the Jedi or the Supreme Chancellor. While they served the Republic during the war, they also conducted private investigations into the government's suspicious activities, including the ties between the Treasury and the Banking Clan, the secret second clone army Palpatine was growing on Centax II, and irregularities in the funding for the GAR. The Nulls also conducted their own private missions during this time, most notably a quest to hunt down Kosai and get her to determine a cure for their accelerated aging. They did eventually capture Kosai and put her to work, but she committed suicide before her work was finished, something not one of the Nulls mourned. After the Republic became the Empire, the Nulls deserted and moved to Mandalore with Papa Cal, where they established a haven for clone deserters and their allies. Eventually, they managed to find a cure of some kind for the accelerated aging as well. The Null Arcs are fascinating characters as they deviated sharply from the average clone mold. They're not without problems, of course. It could be argued that they're a bit overpowered, and furthermore, many parts of their stories clashed with the established continuity, as is honestly the case with anything written by Karen Traviss. But at the end of the day, they're fun characters to explore and a unique part of the Legends continuity. They're proper Mandalorian clones, all of them highly skilled, bitingly sarcastic, dangerously spontaneous, and thoroughly fracked in the head. The Nulls are also an important part of understanding the clones and what they went through. They were the prototypes, uninhibited and thoroughly experimental, and they alone were able to truly understand, appreciate, and react to the hell that clones were put through. They, more than any other clones, saw the Kaminoans for the murderous bastards they were. They, more than any other clones, saw how the Republic mistreated them. And they, more than any other clones, saw the life they could have had, the life the Kaminoans kept them from having. But despite the Nulls being cool as hell, they aren't all that well known among Star Wars fans. They didn't appear in Star Wars The Clone Wars or in most Clone Wars era material for that matter. The reason for that is simple, if unfortunate: Karen Traviss. The author of the series which the Nulls first appeared was infamous for not letting other writers work with her characters, and as a matter of fact, she pretty much claimed any story relating to the Republic Commandos for herself, forcing other writers dealing with the Clone Wars era to stick with ARC troopers or just regular clones. So that was our look at the Null class ARC troopers, the very first clones of Jango Fett. But as per usual guys, what do you think? Would you like to hear more about these guys or any other clones that's similar? Let us know your suggestions in the comments section below. And as per usual guys, just before you go, make sure you check out the wider Star Wars community. You can find us on our main Geeksleys Discord, where you can chat to myself and other Star Wars fans, participate in polls, art contests, and everything a Star Wars fan desires. And also, if you want to just play games, then you can join us on our Garry's Mod servers, where we host Star Wars role-playing games, where you can chat and interact to other people in a Star Wars setting until your heart's content. Anyways guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.